Shri Gurave Namah. Namaste. Today we will read a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. This is the 50th verse. Buddhiyukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. Tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. So, yoga karmasu kaushalam. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This is the essence of all spiritual practices. We'll see what it means. One with intelligence attuned to yoga outlives both virtue and undesirable things. Therefore, dedicate yourself to yoga. Yoga is verily dexterity in performing all kinds of actions. The seeker has to equally outlive desirable and undesirable outcomes. What does that mean? Papa and Punya, these are the two ends of karma. On one side, two sides of karma. On one side, there are these evil actions and evil thoughts and that kind of stuff. On the other side, there are positive aspects of life, good deeds, helping, service, etc. These are desirable things, and the results are very obvious. When you do bad things, you get bad results. That's obvious. So when you come to spiritual path, the goal is not to be on the side of virtue. That is not the goal of any spiritual path. The goal is to be in that state of yoga union. In order to get to that point, a seeker has to overcome these two dvandvas, Papa and Punya. Papa means sin. Punya means desirable merit, while merit is desirable. To get to a level not yearning for Punya, too, is par supreme. It raises the seeker to the lofty level of transcendence. How cherishable is such a state? So let's see, in this shloka, Lord Krishna asks Arjuna, his disciple, to practice Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means leaving the wrong concepts and wrong understandings about life and seeing that oneness in everything. That is Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga helps a seeker to be in that state of union. What is union? Yoga. You have heard this term so many times, and so many of us believe that the term yoga has something to do with physical postures and asanas and things like that. But the truth is, yoga, the meaning of yoga is much higher than our understanding. It has nothing to do with the physical postures or anything like that. The physical postures and asanas, yoga asanas. These are just a small aspect of um, this vast field. So, what is yoga? The true meaning of yoga is seeing that invisible force within the visible scene of everyday life. I'll say that one more time. Seeing the hands of that magician, invisible magician, in everything that you experience in life. Who is this invisible magician? We are talking about the formless awareness, field of formless awareness, which is unborn. This field of awareness is what we are, formless. So this formless awareness is appearing as all forms. This is the essence of all scriptures, the true essence of scriptures. So the method of teaching has been always like this, questions and answers. A disciple would ask a question and the teacher would answer, clear out the doubts. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna to move beyond attachments and aversions, and from that level move beyond these dvandvas of virtues and sins and all kinds of dilemma. That's called dvandva. So when you get to that point, you experience this equanimity. And in Sanskrit it's called samachittada, which is that golden point where you are in that neutral state. How is that possible? So what is yoga? Yoga means seeing this formless awareness. It's not seeing with your eyes. Remembering this invisible force. Understanding that the essence of everything is this formless awareness. So that it takes practice to get to that level. So we all have to start somewhere. So Lord Krishna says, start with this. What is birth? What is body? And the understanding takes a higher realm. So let's see how our contemporary teachers see this point, and how they are their pointings would help us realize this better. So I'll read a paragraph from Rupert Spira's The Art of Peace and Happiness. And in this book, it's very simple to understand how all this confusion started. Our self is not made out of pure knowing or awareness like bread is made out of flour. Our self simply is that. What does that mean? That means it doesn't come out of something else. Or you can say, the eyes can see so many things, but it cannot see itself. A knife can cut so many things, but it cannot cut itself. Similarly, awareness can only be aware of itself. So nothing else can be aware of that. Our self is simply that which knows. But who is the our in ourself? It does not belong to a body or a mind. This is the biggest misunderstanding that most of us have. The belief is that our self belongs to our body. This is one of the biggest misunderstanding. So that is what the society taught us. That's what our parents taught us. That's what we grew up with, this wrong concept. So it's something like unlearning. Um, Self does not belong to a body or a mind. The self belongs to itself. It is impersonal. The body and mind belong to it, but it does not belong to anyone or anything. It is the self, not our self or yourself. It is just one self. The self is aware presence in intimate but impersonal. So when I can say I have a house. I have a house, but I am not my house. I can say I have a car, but I am not my car. Similarly, I can say I have a body, but I am not my body. What is this I that I'm referring to? It's the same self that we are talking about. The formless awareness does not belong to a body. The knowing that you have, that I am here, I exist, this knowing does not belong to a body. That's what Rupert is trying to help us understand in here. Now he talks about birth. Birth is a series of sensations and perceptions experienced by you. That you is not a sensation or perception. It knows all sensations or perceptions. When we say sensations, let's say I'm rubbing my hands together and I feel sensation. I am aware of sensations. But the I that is aware of this sensation is not the body. When I say I am aware of this sensation, the I that I am referring is the formless awareness. The formless awareness, is aware of this sensation. And let's talk about perceptions. The screen that you're seeing, it is the formless awareness seeing everything using our five senses, our eyes, and smelling through the nose, tasting through our mouth, using the mouth. So all these five senses are used by awareness. So what is birth? Birth is a series of sensations and perceptions. Perception means the sights that you're seeing, the sounds that you're hearing. That's what it's commonly referring to. The you that experienced those first sensations and perceptions is the same you that experienced the 5 and the 25-year-old, and is the very same you that is aware of these words now. Let me read that one more time. The you that experienced those first sensations when you were born, the body was born, the first sensations and perceptions, is the same you that experienced when you were 5 year old, when you were 10 year old, when you were 25 years old, and it's the same you who is listening to these words now. You understand? So that you has no change at all, and that you is not born. We are talking about formless awareness that is within you, and that you are that. And if our self aware presence were not present at the birth of the body, we would not be able to claim that it was born. The self that experienced the birth of the body was not born with it. It was unborn, and it is still unborn. It is already present when the body appeared, and hence we are able to say that the body appeared. It is only because thought imagines that our self-aware presence is the body that we think and subsequently feel that we were born when it was born. So, why do we talk about this now? It is to help us understand that the body is an appearance in our formless awareness. All bodies are just appearances in formless awareness. So this is what Krishna says, yoga karmasu kaushalam. You must have a skill to see this union, to be in that union, and to experience that union. So what is that skill? That's why we read this book, to understand, to dive deep into our own experiences about our five senses. So these sensations and perceptions that we experience every day, we think it's just the body. So let me ask you a question. When you are asleep, you have all five senses, but why aren't you seeing? You have eyes and you have ears, when you are asleep, you're not hearing a sound near you. That means the formless awareness is hearing, using the ears to hear all the sounds. And if you're saying, okay, I can, it's my eyes which can see everything. In that case, if you see a dream, your eyes are closed, sleeping in your bed, and you're sleeping in your bed, your body is sleeping in your bed, and you're dreaming. And you can see colors, you can see people, you can see buildings, you can see the sky, and anything can appear in your dream. And what is that force that enables you to see everything without opening your eyes? Have you ever thought about that? So it is the same formless awareness making appearances. And what makes it this one more real? You can see the same body, your body in your dream too. So formless awareness can see make appearances, all kinds of appearances. So this is what Lord Krishna says, yoga karma sukhaushalam. You must be skillful to see this magic. So this magic is called life. We are all different characters in God's book. He's the writer. We are all the characters in His mind. And He's the same one who's appearing as everything. So the script writer and the characters all are one. That's why no matter how many plans we make, most of them do not come true. And we do not have complete control on our plans or on our destiny. No, we have a wrong understanding that we do have some control. But when you see more and more, when you go deep in this knowledge, you will see, no, it's all happening. It's all happening. And it's just the mind saying, oh, we are doing it and we are the one who is experiencing it. No, the body is just a small part of this play. So Lord Krishna says, Yoga Karma Sukhaushalam. You must be skillful to be in that state. And what is that state he's talking about? There's a mantra in Upanishads. It's called this Ishavasyamidam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. Whatever you see as the world, it is filled with God. It is God. It's not just God coming as some forms. No, it is Him. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. There's nothing else. And there's another mantra saying God is there, God is up and God is down, and God is on the side, and God is in the back, God is in the front. What does that mean? He is everywhere and He is everything. So if we get this point right, you start seeing that oneness in everything. Yes, attachments and aversions would pop up, but then you do have a tool that's called Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means you remember this point, that it is Him, it is God in everything and appearing as everything within this formless awareness. So when you do have this tool in your hands, it is easy to move beyond the obstacles. And we believe so much in the names and forms. The name that we have now, your name belongs to the body. In India, in Hindu culture, a name is given to a baby on the 28th day after the baby is born. So for the first 27 days, baby does not have a name. So baby was not born with a name. The name is given after a while. So the name belongs to just the body. You have nothing to do with your name. So when you see this, you slowly start to untangle yourself from these wrong concepts. Next shloka. So why do we do yoga? Why did Krishna recommend yoga karma sukhaushalam? Why did he say that? To transcend the state of suffering, to remove pain and suffering. Pain would come. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. When we have this true understanding about our own true self, the suffering is optional. So that is the reason why we practice yoga. Yoga means union, seeing God in everything. There's another shloka. It's the 47th one. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahe durбhu ma te sangostu akarmani. The import of the first line of this verse is greatly misunderstood. This is a very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita. Between the path of exclusive wisdom, devoid of activity, and the path through activity, says Krishna, Arjuna is now fit only for active life, not for jnana nishta, which means exclusive wisdom, devoid of activity, which means most of us are stuck in this path of karma, which means even if we want to stop some activities in our life, even if we want to do it, we are forced to do because of our karma. So Krishna says, even if you are doing some things that are not recommended, you still have a chance to go beyond it if you practice yoga. You keep whatever is coming on your way, you do it by offering it to God or practicing yoga. That is called karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Karma yoga means it's not escaping from our duties. It is not running away from our responsibilities. It is performing all of our duties while practicing yoga. So we are applying this medicine called yoga, seeing God in everything, while doing actions in all our activities. So these are not two things. Okay, some people say in my spiritual life, this is what's happening. How do I balance my spiritual life and everyday life, dynamic life? It's just one, if you understand it correctly. So applying this knowledge in everyday life, even if you are doing, and then Krishna goes to that extreme, saying that even if you commit all kinds of sins, extreme sins, you're still eligible to practice yoga and move beyond it. So the question is, will not such active involvement torment and bind one. Krishna says, it is enough if the performer fosters no delusional clinging to the results of whatever he does. So this is the point of this shloka. So when Krishna says in Karma Yoga, Krishna says, perform all activities without clinging to the outcome. How do you do that? You have to uh, keep in mind what would come, what would be the outcome of some actions. That's quite natural. But we cannot just cling to some outcomes. We cannot just, no, this has to happen. This has to happen. And clinging to that kind of clinging to the outcomes will make you weak. And if something doesn't go our way, we'll get so disappointed. So Krishna says, do not cling to the results of your actions. You offer it to God. You perform your 100%. You put your effort into that action. Do your 100%. And then offer it to God for the results. God, I did my best. I offer it to you. The results is yours. So Krishna says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You do not have a say on the outcome of your actions, because there are so many invisible forces that are impacting upon that results. It's called Daivam. Daivam means your past actions. And there are so many things that we don't want to go deep into that, but still, we do have to understand it's not just our actions that is giving us the results. There are so many forces on top of that, which decides the true result of an action. That's why sometimes we do our 100% on something and we try our best, but still we do not get the result that we wanted. That this is the reason for that. We do not have that say on what should be the outcome of each action. So Krishna gives 4 complementary instructions. Arjuna is fit only for karmanishta, which means Arjuna is still on that path of karma yoga. Because this advice, these advices were given in that battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Krishna cannot say, Arjuna, stop everything, start contemplating. No, he cannot say that. So Krishna is asking Arjuna to wake up and be a part of the war that is destined to happen. That's why there are all thousands of kings and soldiers are ready to start the war, and Arjuna became so worried and so weak. He was not worried about defeating others, but he was worried that and sad. He felt sad because he had to fight with his great grandfather and all these relatives who are in front of him, and he felt so sad to fight with them. That was the reason. He was a great warrior. He was not scared. He was just it was so painful for him to think about fighting with these relatives whom he loved. So that's why Krishna asked Arjuna to go on this path of karma. He must not cling to resulting gain, and he asks Arjuna not to expect uh, certain outcomes from that war. And he says he should not be motivated by preferred outcome. He must not cling to inactivity, and he shouldn't run away from this uh, task either. So, what is Krishna trying to say? We are this Arjuna, we are in this position. Sometimes we have to um, deal with people who have different interests and who have some negative motivations and things like that. We have to do it. And even though they are probably they might be our family, distant family, relatives, or friends. So, how do we deal with them? That's the advice that Krishna is giving Arjuna, to perform duties with your 100% effort and offer the result outcome to the Lord, which means not to cling to the results of actions. And when something that is undesirable happen in our life, we must have the courage to accept it. Just accept it. Just say, okay, that's how it is at this moment. It might change, but at this moment, I accept it. So this acceptance, this is what Gita teaches us to do. So let's all practice this in our life, and let's see how our life transforms. Thank you all for watching. Namaste.